Hello everyone, it's Stamp Ventures with Shauna, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Moose Jaw, Canada. It is Tuesday night, February 16th at around 9 o'clock in the evening. So if that's the time it is for you, you're catching this live, and if it's after that, you're catching the replay. I'm just going to see if I can link up here to my iPad. I think I had pretty good luck last time with comments coming through and being able to chat with you. Oh, yeah, there. Okay. Oh, yeah, it's giving me these options to share with a different group this time. Last time it let me share with another group. Oh, maybe yeah. Oh, there's all these new technical things that I could learn. I should learn. Okay, well, today I'm going to be doing the baby wipe technique and having some fun with ink refills, sharing a list of things that you can use your ink refills for, not just for the baby wipe technique or for refilling your ink pads. Might try a little experiment of re-inking a couple of my Stampin' Write markers. I don't think I've ever done that before, so why not do it just on a live video? And yeah, we'll all learn together, and maybe you'll learn from my mistakes. Hello to Brenda and Susan and other people who are able to hop on. Welcome, welcome. We're having a pretty good day here in Moose Jaw. We've upgraded the weather this week. It's not quite as polar as it was. We'll just say that it's chilly now. Not 1,000 degrees below zero. Yeah, more just very chilly. But our 1.5 inch of frost that's on the north facing window in our bathroom is all melted. So that makes me happy, and the next few days things are looking to be even better. Unless, of course, we're turning into a live version of the Rick Mercer weather report, and then maybe it's just going to stay cold. But crossing fingers, it's looking like it's going to be good. I think once before I shared with you that we had a water advisory, a water advisory. This is we got one again today. We received the notice that there's going to be an interruption to our water because there has been a water main leak discovered just down the block from us. And our water is going to be off tomorrow from 8 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. And yeah, so we're starting to, fill the bathtub and fill all kinds of containers so to make sure we make it through the day. The Keurig machine is all filled up, ready to go with water for coffee in the morning. One of the things I'm trying to figure out, like it says that, so, they have to keep the water safe, and once we've got this yellow notice, it means that we're on a boil water advisory. Does that mean we're like on a boil water advisory right now, even though they haven't done the work? Like it's tomorrow that they're turning off the system and flushing it and doing all that stuff and fixing it. So I hope it doesn't. Yeah, I might have had some water tonight from the tap that I didn't boil, but they haven't done the work yet on it. So if anybody knows how these work, yeah, I mean, I understand that we have to boil it once they've done the work, but do we have to right now? So just trying to figure out those kinds of things. Hello to Glenda and Mary and Jean and others who have hopped on. I'm going to be, as I mentioned before, going to be showing you the baby wipe technique, and I'll give you some tips as to how I made this card, and I'll make something similar, not exactly like it, but we'll play around and see what I come up with, because when you're doing the baby wipe technique, you're never sure exactly where those colors are all going to land in the rainbow and how much color you have of one and the other. So I don't know, we'll see. If I have time, I'll make it into a full card, or I might just stamp a whole bunch of different images with the rainbow baby wipe technique, and you can see how that goes. And well, what's today? Tuesday. I already said that. On Thursday, on my Stamp Ventures VIP group. I'm going to be doing some cards with some ladies. We're using the Quite Curvy bundle of products to create, well, it'll be 2 different cards this Thursday and 2 different cards next Thursday. So this is, I don't think this is going to be one of the cards. I'm just finishing cutting, and there are just so many really, really nice ideas with the Quite Curvy bundle. It's quite unique, and but I think we're going to be doing another floral one sort of along these lines, or it might be something different. But I just set this card here to remind me that yeah, I will be doing that class on my VIP page, and if you'd like to join on to my VIP page, let me know and I can add you. Just a couple weeks left of Celebration. So yeah, it's a lot shorter this year. It'll finish off on the last day of February, and any of the free products that are listed for $60 or $120 purchases, those are going to end at the end of February. Also, there's a fantastic starter kit promotion. If you'd love to join my team, I answer any questions that you might have. No pressure. I never like to pressure anybody. But I'm on the wrong page. There is, for people who purchase the starter kit right now during Celebration, there's a package, actually 5 packages of designer paper. And these are all new patterns that are going to be in the annual catalog. Speaking of the annual catalog, we have only like 2.5 months, less than 2.5 months left of our current annual catalog. There's what's left of February, and then there's March and April. And at the end of April, the current catalog is done. And I don't have one in front of me. You're going to think this is weird, but I've got a catalog from the year 2002, 2003, and I'll talk about that later. But the current one is going to end in 2.5 months. And talking about ink refills today, what you really need to keep in mind, if you have any of the 2019-2021 in colors, and let me see if I can remember. I'm looking over at my stash there. That's Rococo Rose, Pretty Peacock, Soft Seafoam, Terracotta Tile. There was a 5th one, but the ink formula didn't work out for that. That was the Purple Posy. Those 4 colors, you want to make sure you get your ink refills soon. If you wait until April, which is the last month that our catalog is current, you may be disappointed. It may be too late. They may run out of those ink refills. So, and I'm going to turn my camera down now, and I'll show you about 10 or 12 different reasons why you should have ink refills and what you can do with them besides just juicing up your ink pads, because there are quite a few things that you can do with those little guys. So I'll turn the camera down and we'll get started here. If you need to shift your eyes away for a minute, there's just going to be a little movement here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and landed. Okay. My phone is dipping a little bit to one way. We'll see if I can offset that. There, I thought it's pretty close. All right, and I'm just going to hook up my microphone and earbuds. Isn't this hilarious? This made me spit out my coffee today. This is so good. Sorry, your password must contain at least 8 characters, upper and lowercase letter, a symbol or number, a hieroglyph, a haiku, a musical note, the feather of a hawk, and a drop of unicorn blood. Thank you to my friend Jackie for sharing this on Facebook today. It is just such a good one. Okay, there's a little bit closer up of the one example of the baby wipe technique. And yeah, I'll share that to how that worked out in just a few minutes. But I've got this great list. Look at this. It's a list of all the things that you can do with ink refills. I'm just going to get my iPad turned around here so I can see it. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I'll go like that. There we are. Okay. Oh, everything seems crooked today. I wonder if we can straighten things out. Which is the way to straighten? Sometimes things are backwards to how I think they should work. I think that straightens things. Okay. Oh, I'm glad you like the funny, Sue. Yeah, it's a good one. Okay. So, ink refills. Like I said, those 4 ink colors are going to be heading for retirement unless they happen to get brought back into service at some point, which they do with some of the trendier, popular ink refills. They do sometimes do a color shuffle. But basically, your ink pads can last for years and years and years because it really takes very little of the bottle to rejuice your ink pad or to juice up your ink pad. So keeping them juicy for years, which I like that because then you don't have to, excuse me. Oh dear, the tickle in my throat as soon as I start talking too much. Yeah, you don't have to throw your ink pads away. So I think that part's good. If you have Stampin' Spots, they could be the ones that are pre-inked, like the ones that you get in the paper pumpkin kits, or they can be the Stampin' Spots that have no color in them, and you pick your own color. These can also re-ink the Stampin' Spots. You can use them to juice up your markers, and I'm going to do that in just a minute. See, I brought my paper towel, so I'm ready. I've never done it, so we're going to try it together. And like I said, you can learn from my mistakes. You can take, okay, pretend that there is not a stamp on there. You could just take droplets of ink and put it onto a clear block, or you could put it into the lid of your ink pad, and then you can pick up that ink with a water painter or a brush, and you can watercolor with it, paint with it. You could also pick it up with the brush, and then you can spatter that ink that's on the brush onto your project. If you don't want it big spatters, you could mix it with water or rubbing alcohol and spritz it with one of our Stampin' Spritzers, and you get a nice mist of it, a very fine spritz. And you can even add shimmer paint in there if you want to make it extra sparkly. You can tint the shimmer paint. You can tint our embossing paste. You can add dye, you can add ink refill to water, a little bowl of water, and you can put ribbon in there and you can dye it. You can use ink refills. You actually need ink refills for all of these next 4 techniques. There's the polished stone technique, there's the baby wipe technique, there's the shaving cream technique, and the marble rolling technique. And I don't have time to show all of these things tonight on the video, but I am going to, like I said, attempt to re-ink a Stampin' Right marker here. I've got 2 of them, and I will do a baby wipe technique. So I'll move this out of the road. And, oh, one more thing. Okay, I told you I had this really old catalog. This is back from the year that I started as a demonstrator. It was the year that Stampin' Up! Came to Canada. Look at that. It's the 2002. That's back when they called it an idea book and catalog. And it wasn't just catalog, it was an idea book. And it still is an idea book. But I guess maybe it doesn't have as many ideas as it used to have. So I'm going to turn, I know it'd be fun to like flip through this and see like all the cool stuff in here. Oh my gosh. But if I'm going to make it through this video without my battery running out on me, I'm going to flip right to the colors. So they had 4 groups of colors for their inks and their papers, kind of like we do now. There were soft subtles, there were bold brights. I called that the SS group, the BB group, the RR, the rich regals, and the EE, the earth elements. So you will notice that we still go by subtles, we go by brights, we go by regals. We don't have the term earth elements anymore. What they've created is a group called the neutrals. So it's got browns and blacks, and they've moved navy into there. I think Merlot is in there. Some very basic neutrals that can kind of work with almost any card or any color. And I went through the list of colors, of ink colors here, and there are 4 that we still have in our color collections today. So the first one being none of these soft subtles have carried over. They have pinks and purples and light greens and soft blues, but they have changed their hue to be more contemporary and to fit in with the trends and the to be up to date as best they can in the world of design today. It's just like most of us don't have an avocado fridge anymore or a harvest gold bathtub. Same thing. Stampin' Up! Does its best to keep up with the trends that are out there. Yes, hi Tracy. It is. It's a fun retro evening, and it is like it's been a while since I've looked through this old catalog, so it's it's kind of fun to look back after all these years. In the bold brights, there is one color that has been retained over the years, and that's real red. In the rich regals, there is one color that's been retained over the years, and it's now in the neutrals group. That's the Night of Navy. And in the earth elements, there are 2 that have been maintained over the years. That's Old Olive and Garden Green. Now, that doesn't mean that all of the rest of these ink pads are no good and have to be thrown out. They maybe do need to be thrown out if they've been really used and maybe stamped with and got mixed up with other colors in them and just are ragged and old. But if you have the ink refill for any color, that ink pad can last for a long time. So just keep in mind that anytime you order an ink pad, I really highly recommend that you get the re-inker to go with it, and it will do you for years and years to come, and you can enjoy that ink pad. And you can also do lots of those other techniques that I shared with you on the list. So here are 2 Stampin' Write markers that I noticed were pretty dry. So this one is the Melon Mambo, and I think both. This one wasn't. It's starting to go dry. You get a little bit of color and then not much. So that's the fine tip, and then the brush tip. The tip itself is in good shape. Sometimes the tips, people have been pressing too hard. The tip itself is in good shape. There's just not a lot of ink in there. So I'm going to do my best to put some ink into this marker. And wish me luck. Okay, so I saw a video on this. You can learn anything by watching YouTube, right? It's pretty impossible, next to impossible, to get that tiny nib out of the fine tip end, but you can get this nib out of the brush tip. And I know this is kind of scary, but I'm going to just grab these little pliers and pull the nib right out. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I've got to remember that's the part that goes in. And now, I think I want to put some ink down into the barrel there. So here goes nothing. It's really important that Stampin' Write markers and any double-tipped markers be stored level flat like this, because if you have one tip up, it's going to for sure get dry and all the ink will roll down to the other end. Okay, how many drops have I got? 1, 2. Now I believe there's kind of like a spongy filtery thing that grabs and pulls the ink all through the barrel. I don't know exactly what I want to call it, but sort of a spongy thing that holds the ink. And so even though I'm only putting ink at this one end, my understanding is that it can travel and be soaked in. Wow, that looks like there's lots of ink right there. Ooh, maybe I did too much. Well, we're going to put this back in. Is it going to overflow? Ooh. Okay. I feel like I'm doing surgery here. Whew. Okay. Going to shake a little bit of that out. And this is where the paper towel comes in handy. Okay. Okay, soak in there. Soak in, soak in. There. Now, here we go. Put back together. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, I can see it's gonna, I must have been too generous with my my ink. Okay, here we go. Whew. Okay, so the video that I saw, once she had put her few drops of ink in, she was able to put her nib back in. I'm going to get it back in far enough, but not too far. Woo! Okay, juicy. And then she let it sit for a bit. Oh, you know, that's got lots of ink on that end. She let it set for a bink. She let it set for a bink, sit for a bit, and then the other tip was also nicely juiced up. Okay, so you have learned from my mistake number 1. Don't overdo it with the drops of ink. Apparently the markers do not need that much. Okay. So I'm going to let that sit for a few minutes and hopefully the ink will. So that's good to know. Like, and I always tell people when they're re-inking their ink pads, don't use too much ink because it just gets to be a spattery mess. But the same goes for the markers. There we are. And so here's Flirty Flamingo. That's like completely toast. And now that's pretty much toast too. So this time I'll see if I can do a better job. Not so much ink. There we go. And how many drops did I do last time? Like maybe 3. So I'll do like 1. Hang on. All right. 1, 2. Okay. There we go. I will not be. That one is the droplets seem to have dropped down further. I'm so tempted to put 1 more drop in there. Oh, it's not bubbling over the top like the other one did. Okay, hopefully I'm not going to regret this. There, okay. Stop at 3. You can always add more. It's hard to take away. Okay, so there. Tap it down. Okay, be gentle on the brush tip. And maybe we're not even going to get to stamping today. We're just going to be there. Oh, it just kind of, yeah, it kind of seems to stop when it gets to the point where it, yeah, okay. So I'm going to let these sit for a few minutes here to let the ink distribute throughout the barrels. And I'm going to save this piece of paper so you can see that was that's where I colored with the Melon Mambo, and that's where I colored with the Flirty Flamingo. And we'll go back later towards the end of after I do my baby wipe stamping, and we'll see what those colors look like. Okay. Less is more. Yes, Tracy. Yeah. And you know, that would make sense pretty much for anything, I think, where you're working with color and So this was the baby wipe that's now very dry that I used for this birthday card for my son. And now, well, in case you're wondering, because you might like to know the color combo here, I used Bermuda Bay and Night of Navy and Granny Apple Green, those 3 together. And I like to use colors that are close to each other in the color wheel, either, you know, light or dark versions or just right next to each other, because then when the 2 colors blend together, you don't get a murky brown or a grayish. If you were to use a bright red and a bright green, when those 2 colors go together, they are across the color from each other on the color wheel, and you basically end up with a murky, kind of dismal, sad color. But when they're close together on the color wheel, they can sometimes blend easily to make, you know, a bluish green or a greenish blue, or if you're using something like say a blue and a yellow, the blue and the yellow blend together to make a green. So keep that in mind. You might appreciate or enjoy your colors best if they're close together. Okay, I'm just grabbing a baby wipe because I forgot that there would be some color on the bottom of this. This is my lovely baby wipe technique ink pad. It's a baby wipe in a Base-L container. And there, I'm going to be switching now to, well, the colors that I was using to re-ink my ink pads, or my Stampin' Write markers, I should say. So I tend to fold my baby wipe in half. I don't know that it's really an important thing, but I kind of like to do that. And oh my goodness, I'm going to just sometimes, oh, this isn't bad. Sometimes the baby wipes are really wet, and you don't want it to be too wet, as in it gets kind of smudgy and watery. So yeah, that's about right. And so I've got Flirty Flamingo, Melon Mambo, and I'm going to bring in a 3rd color, and that is Mango Medley. Okay, I feel like I'm all over the place here with my tools. All right. Oh, I thought this was a cool idea. So for my son's birthday card here, I stamped, well, I was saying they're candles, but they kind of look like they're sparklers. Maybe that's what they are. They could be either candles or sparklers. My friend Tamara had a really good idea where if you want to ink up a stamp, before you put your inks onto the baby wipe, take the stamp and make an impression in it, and that's, you know that you need at least that area covered with ink. So I don't know if it matters that much which order I do these in. So I can kind of barely see some sparklers there. So I'm going to go Mambo Italiano. All my colors today end in the letter O. So there's Mambo, and then there's Mango. And when I did this the other day, I was trying not to get the colors too much overlapping, but I realized I had to go a little bit, like they had to really just nudge right together, because if they didn't, then there was a little bit of a white space. Melon, so Mambo, Mango, and Flamingo. All right. There we go. Yeah, see, if I leave this little bit of a space in between, then there's a part of my stamp that might not have color on it. So, and then I just repeat, rinse and repeat. Yeah, Mambo, Mango, Flamingo. The fibers in the baby wipes just suck the ink. It's really neat. It's like making your own ink pad. Oh, yeah, I thought, Sue, that was kind of a neat idea. It's going to end up being way bigger than I need, but that's okay, because I've got a whole bunch of stamps to try this, to try this color combo with. And so, yeah, we'll see. Back to the Flamingo. Okay, there we go. That looks pretty bright, and it's kind of funny how the fibers are turning a little bit white over here. Maybe I'll just put a little bit more ink. Maybe it's something weird going on in the fibers. Okay, so this piece on my card here is 3x3, so I can't talk tonight. I cut a bunch. Oh my goodness. Time to go to bed. I actually had a really long walk on the treadmill today. It's obviously affecting my ability to speak. I got to my 10,000 steps at like 4 o'clock this afternoon. I started getting fireworks on my Fitbit. So I must be getting tired. Okay, so we'll do the sparklers first. I should probably put a piece of paper underneath. Okay. Just because I'm going to be going off the edge. There we go. The other thing I need to have handy is my stamp, my chamois, to clean my stamp. And so here's the reason why. So when you ink up whatever your image is, you set it down. When you lift it up, if you move it, you're going to muddy the colors a bit more. And so you want to tap and just get ink just from the one area and stamp. I should have showed you what the stamp looked like before ooh, look at those pretty colors. I should have showed it to you what it looked like before I stamped it down. Now, I'm going to re-ink this, but there is a 0% chance that I'm going to hit that exact same spot on my ink pad. So I'm just going to go in really quickly and clean, and might be okay if there's a little bit of color on there, but I just want to start fresh. And here, we'll try over this part of my baby wipe stamp pad. And, okay, that's what it looks like there. It's very juicy, really juicy. Sparklers. Okay, there we go. And I think you may notice too that my colors may start as we continue to stamp, the colors may lighten a little bit. That's you don't want your ink or your baby wipe to be too wet, because it'll dilute the colors a lot. Oh, this is so pretty. Oh my goodness. I like this combination. Clean, clean, clean every time. Then you don't have to worry about where you hit. I have this feeling that my sparklers are maybe going a little off kilter. All right, one more time for the, so you get the idea of how that worked for my son's card. And here I just did it with a different combination of colors. So I'm going to set that off to the side. I may end up using it on a card. Maybe I'll even post the card tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. But I've got a bunch of other stamps here that I thought it would be fun to try out and see what it's like when I do the baby wipe technique with them. It's like a bit of an experiment. Oh, I got to remember to clean off my ink pad. I even, for my son's card, I even stamped the little balloon in the multicolors too, and that looked cute. Okay, because I might need this block, so I'll just keep it nearby. Next stamp set. Okay, I thought, ooh, wouldn't it be neat if we had a multicolored poppy? So I'm going to try stamping the poppy with a black outline ink and then doing the fill-in part with my baby wipe ink pad that I have created. So back to our, I think all the stamps I've picked are ones that are going to fit about this size of paper. So, okay, can press it a little bit, but I don't want to move it around and muddy the colors too much. All right, so I'm going to do the fill-in part first. I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea. Let's see. Ooh, all right, there we go. Okay, and now this could be a little damp just because these baby wipes are very wet, moist. Didn't want it to cause the black ink to run. So, oh, that'll be good, that direction. I don't know if there's anything right, if there's any right or wrong way with this flower. So, there we go. Okay, multicolored poppy, very pretty. All right, so there's two things we've got now, sparklers and a poppy. And what have I got next? I've got a dragonfly. So the dragonfly is from the Dragonfly Garden. My team and I are hoping that in April we're going to be able to do a stamp camp with the Dragonfly Garden stamp set and the coordinating punch. Now this one I'm going to do the black stamping first, and then I'll do the fill-in color after. So there we go. But dragonfly, it would be very pretty for a butterfly too. I'm trying to think if I need this black. I don't think so. I think I can move it out of the road. And so these are the fill-in color parts for the wings. What some stampers have noticed is that the wings, there's only this one side, and they kind of curve a little bit this way. So then to do the wings on the other side, you take and you flip the stamp the other way, but then they curve in the other direction. But they're not meant to be like an exact fill-in color. So just like the poppy, it's not like perfect match up to the edges of the flower. And that's kind of the same thing with the dragonfly, which is maybe good for people like me who, you know, sometimes like, oh, I got to get it right. I got to get it right. No, just like that. Oh, okay. Now, got to remember, clean this before I'm going to go the other direction. Somebody else said too that these could be like the shadows of the wings, or making it look like the movement of the wings. So there's a few different things you can use this particular stamp for. Now, re-ink, fresh. Let's see, I'll go down over here. And there. Oh, pretty. Those colors are so fun together. And if you've just hopped on and you're wondering what colors I used in my baby wipe here, it's Flirty Flamingo, Mango Melody, and Melon Mambo. And there was one more that I was going to try, and this one, actually there are two more. I think I might have to turn one of these pieces over. I guess I only have 4 pieces. I thought it would be fun to see what a multicolored chicken would look like, or hen. I thought that would be just so cute. So we're going to try it out. Hopefully I've still got a bit of color in there. Get it inked up as best I can. And here she goes. The funky, colorful chicken. Oh, she's awesome. Look at that. That's fantastic. Oh, there we go, the rainbow chicken. Now, all these stamps that I've used so far are red rubber stamps. And I'm just not sure how well, it's been a long time since I've done the baby wipe technique, and I can't really remember how well it works with the photopolymer, the clear stamps. So I brought this flower to try it, just to see. It may not be quite as good as the red rubber, because the red rubber it's very, very, very useful for certain kinds of techniques and getting that ink to cling in particular ways. But I'm going to try the photopolymer just to see how it works. So I'll turn the chicken over. And this is kind of neat because you can see where those colors are. Oh my gosh, look at that. You can squish it right. You can see it squishing into the stamp. See, not bad. Liquid adheres to this photopolymer just a little bit differently than it does to the rubber. And I'm going to grab a foam mat to go underneath this, because then I'll get the most press that I can. Oh, there we go. Oh, look at that. Yay. Trying to lift this off without having it spatter all over. Okay, you can see that it is a little bit waterier, so it doesn't quite get the fill in as much as the rubber stamp tends to cover with the baby wipe. Mind you, we've used the baby wipe a few times now, so it may be starting to dilute a little. I could go back here, one last experiment. I'm going to go back and I'm going to add a little bit of each color again, because I can kind of see where they were, and just juice it up. That's the neat thing too about this technique. And then I'll finish off by showing you, we'll try my markers and see if I've had any luck in re-inking those up. I won't do a complete card here tonight because I think my battery for my phone is going to be starting to get to its last bits of battery power. Okay, so there and there. Have any of you done the rolling marble technique before? Yes, I think there is potential too, Tracy. Great idea to use a stamp impression. Yeah, got that idea from another demonstrator. I thought that was just fabulous. I haven't ever done the rolling marble technique, but it also uses the re-inkers. I was thinking I might have to try that. Okay, so now I've juiced that up a little bit. We'll see if that, and now I've got to clean this, because if I just go, I know those colors will not. You can definitely see where the pinky reds were, like that Melon Mambo really, really stains the photopolymer. But that's okay, it'll still work. We'll turn this one over. Okay, so now that I've got some fresh ink on there, just gonna push. And maybe it still will be, yeah, it might still be a little bit, just as a little bit wetter and juicier, so it clings to the photopolymer differently. Well, here we go. Oh, pretty good. Still a little bit lighter in areas where it's so juicy to be on that photopolymer, but fun to try. So there you go. If for nothing else but to re-ink your pads and your markers and to do this fun technique, got to give it a go. Like I said, tomorrow I will try and post a card with at least one of these images, maybe a couple of them. They're going to be fun to play with and put something together. And now I'm going to grab my paper. Here it is. Okay, I'm almost a little worried. Whoops, excuse me. Allergies. I'm almost a little worried to open my Melon Mambo marker because I think I used so much ink on it, but here we go. Oh, okay, that's the fine tip. Well, let's see. This is where I used the fine tip before. I don't know. That one doesn't seem to be all that much brighter than it was before, so I'm not sure if the color made its way through the barrel like it was supposed to. Maybe I have to be more patient. Maybe I need to try it again tomorrow. Okay, this is going to be... there we go. Yeah, definitely more ink in this tip of the marker. So worked up for juicing the wide end, not so much for the narrow end, at least with this one. But I did feel like the ink wasn't dropping into the barrel like it should have. So let's see, the ink did seem to be going into the barrel a bit better with this one. And I almost felt like I could have put more in there, but after my experience with the first one, I just didn't know. Okay, so yeah, there is more color there. Yeah, it still seems like I could add more though to that one. And no success. Yeah, no luck with the fine tip. So either I've got to add more color or I've got to find a way of adding ink to this guy. It's kind of, oh, well, that does come out. Okay. What the heck? Last little science experiment for the night. Do I have the right color? Yes, this is Flirty Flamingo. Nothing like putting a different color of ink in there. Ooh, it's harder to see where I'm going with this. Well, I've got a little bit in there. So there you go. You can pull out this tip. I was kind of scared too, but it goes back in. Oh, just like that. Okay. And I may not be giving it enough time for the ink to flow into the tip, but
yeah, it obviously needs some more time to get in there because I think it soaks that nib part at the other end has to soak in the ink that I put into the barrel. So yeah, well, I don't think I hurt my markers, and they're going to be just a little bit juicier than they were before. So that's good to know. And keep in mind that there are really a lot of good reasons that you should get the ink refills to go with your ink pads that you purchase. And don't wait till the last month before the color retires, because chances are that the refill won't be available anymore. Everybody will have the same idea. And if you get them now, it's a great time to get your ink refills, because you can also choose celebration rewards. So let me know if there's anything I can help you with for your stamping supplies and your stamping adventures. And thanks so much for tuning in for my video tonight. I really appreciate all of you who have popped on to see what I was up to. And have a great week, everyone. We'll talk to you later. Bye for now.